to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Par-Mar. There are literally hundreds of Par-Mar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Par-Mar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Par-Mar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And all right, and welcome to the WolfMan's Call, May 31st. It's Wednesday. Got a great show for you today. I'm the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley, man. It can't be anybody else but me. I got a show today that's so cool coming up that I have Mike Jacobs, who is the head coach for Lenoir Rhyne, Division II powerhouse. And this is kind of like a pride day. This is a cool day. He's so much a great coach that he has a winning percentage of 800 winning percentage. But before I bring him on, I just want to bring this on because I want to talk about this, his father. And his father was my mentor. So when I say pride things, I had nothing to do with Mike Jacobs, head coach of Lenoir Rhyne, and his football education. But his father had everything to do with mine. And he, again, is at the head coach of Lenoir Rhyne, Division II powerhouse. He just hired Tyler Orlowski. Remember him? The center for the Mountaineers. And boy, I tell you, what a connection, right? Yeah, those connections kind of go pretty good right there. And I just want to go ahead and welcome Mike Jacobs to our show for the first time on the WolfMan's Call. Coach Mike Jacobs, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Dale. How are you?
Boy, I tell you what, man, it is so good to see you and your face. How's Lacey and the kids doing?
Man, they couldn't be better, right? We're enjoying our time here in Hickory, North Carolina, and the boys just wrapped up school. Lacey's got about another week left, and they're ready to get their summer rolling.
Oh, that is wonderful. And you know what? So, like I said, it's exciting to have you on here because you've been through. So you started off at Ohio State as a player, and you were a long snapper and the center, and you went on from there. And you went to school. You went to Purdue. You were coaching offensive line, I believe. You went to other schools and you coached D line. And I believe your basis now is defense, right?
Yeah, I'm always an O lineman, Dale. Come on now.
I know.
That never leaves. You got to put me on the spot. I'm going to tell you I'm an O line guy. But I got done with a career at Ohio State that I was blessed to have, and got into coaching right away. I spent some time at Eastern Michigan working with the offensive line. Then I was at Wilmington College, a Division III school in Ohio, for just a season. Then another former Mountaineer was looking out for me. Billy Lake hired me to be his graduate assistant on Joe Tiller's staff at Purdue. So spent 3 seasons there at Purdue, got my master's degree, met my wife. We won a bunch of games, really productive 3 years of my time. And then took a job with John Luckhart at Cal PA. And that's when I switched sides of the ball and really began my journey in Division II football. And, John just got voted into the Hall of Fame, and he had a ton of success there, and it's really just right up the road from Morgantown. Cal was only about 45 minutes or so, and And so spent time there, worked with the defense, was also the director of football operations. Was there 6 seasons. I think 4 of those 6 years we went to the playoffs. 2 of them were Final Fours. Actually coached with my dad there, which was really kind of cool after playing for him. And then, went on to Notre Dame College in Ohio as an assistant. Was there 2 years as an assistant before I became the head coach, and then 4 years as the head coach there with the startup. And that's led us on our journey here to North Carolina, to Hickory and Lenoir Rhyne.
Yeah, how is it there at Hickory at Lenoir Rhyne? Because it is a powerhouse, but Hickory, I don't know, is that in a busy intersection there in North Carolina? Where are you? Are you in the hills?
Yeah, no. So we're kind of right at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's growing daily. We were just ranked by one of the U.S. News and World Reports as one of the 25 best places to live in the country. So the Unifor area, the Tri-County area, has got about 350,000 people. Hickory itself's got about 55,000 and growing. Again, the mountains are about 45 minutes away from us. We're an hour from Asheville. We're 4 hours from the beach. We're an hour from Charlotte. So really, really a unique location, and the town is uniquely LR, which makes it a really special place to be the head coach.
Yeah, now listen, I said you're one of 2 active Division II head coaches that have an 800 winning percentage, but aren't you, amongst all coaches, aren't you in the top 5 actively?
With like 5 years of experience, yes, sir. I think that's the stat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, man, that is cool. And let's talk about your dad quickly for a second, because I think our people here watching this will get a really good feel for you, because you were running around the stadium as long as I can remember, back 30 years ago. You were there, you and your brother Cody, and just playing around all the kids and the coaches and all the summer camps, and just you're just living the life of how coaches live. I mean, that was your life, going to see football, and it's just an amazing time for me to watch you grow to Ohio State. And then all this time, Aaron, I'm always talking to your Uncle Bill and all that, and it's like we follow you all the time, and it's not been a fast run, because you've gone up and you've worked everywhere, just like you recalled it right there. I mean, you've put in your hours, your time, but you've had incredible success.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, and you're right. Like I grew up at the facility, right? When they built that facility, it was where I spent quite a bit of my time. My folks divorced when I was in 2nd grade, so my time spent the school year portion of time with my mom in Ohio, and then but every summer was with my dad for 8, 9, 10 weeks, and those old. The camp system isn't like it used to be, right? We got all these 1-day camps, and you're in and out, and it's like a car wash. Back in the day, you used to have to stay at those jokers for 3 and 4 days. We were over in Braxton Tower, and I like to hang out because the chocolate milk was on tap. So there was always free food, and there was always something to do. I don't know. Equipment was still hard to come by from Danny Nealon. I'd try to get a T-shirt every now and again, but some things never change. So, but yeah, I mean, that was my life growing up, and being around the other coaches' kids. I'm still extremely close with Michael Karen, Butch Karen, and I communicate some with the Kralavich kids and Facebook and just all of that, and it's been the time. My dad's time at West Virginia was unique because it just doesn't happen anymore, where folks are at Division I schools for 15 years, and
Right.
The family atmosphere that Coach Nealon tried to provide, and what I remember of it, is what I try to recreate with my own staff, and again, just knew I wanted to get into it right away because I wanted to be like my dad, and I've had really good experience and worked my way up, and we're at a place that we love, and we're having a bunch of success here.
Yeah, you sure are. And one thing, I'm going to just leave it with your dad, because he's my mentor, but I have to say this every single time. People don't realize because Don Nehlen's a Hall of Fame coach and deservedly so, but also because he'll be the first one to tell everybody he had Hall of Fame assistants. And when you talk about being on the staff for 15 years, that Mike Jacobs was the offensive coordinator for both 11-0 regular seasons for the Mountaineers. The only time the Mountaineers ever went 11-0 undefeated in a regular season, and that was with your pops. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And that leads into this. How much, looking back now, he's passed away probably 12, 13 years now. How much, though, has he affected your coaching career?
I think he's affected it a ton. In a very particular way. He was kind of coming to the end of his career as mine was starting, and I always wanted to be very mindful that I wasn't going to shy away, that I had a lot of connections through him, but I also didn't want to be anybody that rode anybody's coattails. But I think some of the greatest things were just my dad did two things really well. My dad did a fantastic job with high school coaches, especially in that Ohio area, recruiting for the Mountaineers and the relationships he had with those guys. But, the thing that stood out the most is, I think, just the way he was able to establish a relationship and a rapport with the position group and specifically the offensive line. And I think those guys were, Major Harris had a bunch to do with the first 11-0 season, but there were some damn good offensive linemen on that whole run, and I think it says a lot when a lot of those guys get into coaching. You were in it yourself for a while after, you're a man of many hats, as everybody knows, but you were in coaching for a while. Yeah. Dale Williams is still in coaching and doing really well. Billy Legg. There's a number of guys that came up and through that ranks. Mike Compton coaches now in the conference I'm in. So there's guys that have had a tremendous amount of success and are giving back in the same way that he did.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Your pops, love him, miss him terribly. I was just going to say this one little thing is I remember going to his funeral and saying, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I saw you walking in. We locked eyes. We both started crying right away.
Oh yeah, that was much more of a celebration of life than a solemn funeral. But,
absolutely, man, absolutely.
A couple hundred people there that were just so affected by him and how he treated folks, and I think that was the neat thing.
He affected a lot of lives, all positively, man, really did. And so let's go ahead now. Lenoir Rhyne, what's going on, man? You're recruiting me. I'm a player. I want to be a great player. I know you like to run the ball. You've had leading rushers, Division II. What are you going to tell me to get me to Hickory?
Yeah, I think it just depends. If you're an offensive lineman, anybody in general. We've had two players drafted in the last 3 years. Kyle Duggar, who I did not recruit, but he was drafted here in the 2020 draft, safety in the second round by the Patriots. We had a wide receiver drafted last year in the 2022 draft by the Seahawks. Over my career, we've had a running back that's been an All-American 4 separate times, not just at LR, but my previous stop. So, we believe in running the football. We're going to stop the run on defense. We're going to try to play fanatical special teams, just all the little things. I believe in the basics of football, and I think too many times guys get lost in wanting to call plays, or you got coaches that are, hung up on their own egos, and it all goes back to the fundamentals. And, if you come to LR, you're going to have a fantastic experience at a program that's been playing football for 100 plus years. You're going to do it between the bricks. We have a one-of-a-kind stadium. It's one of the oldest in college football. Just underwent a $23 million stadium renovation. We got a brand new weight room. Nearly $4 million. So the commitment to excellence is here. You don't need to transfer up. You don't need to be at a D1. You can do everything you want to do right here from LR and get an unbelievable education at that small school feel.
Yeah, all right. You just sold me there. Thinking about it, I remember when you got hired, you were like at a parade, man. They toured you everywhere. Everybody was cheering. It was really cool. Awesome community right there, Division II. And that's what I try to tell people is, I was a junior college coach, and my thing was trying to get kids to 4-year schools. And So many kids are always like, "Hey, go in Division One." No, the real deal is go to Division Two, and you can, especially junior colleges, you'll get that big scholarship. You'll get it, and they'll take care of you. And that's where I placed most of my kids because that was the best option for a lot of kids to get their education and continue playing football and playing good football.
Yeah, I mean, there's 160 plus schools that are playing Division II ball, and the funding's a little different. The money works a little differently. It's we're in Division I, where a lot of the Mountaineer fans are used to. It's 85 scholarships, and it's all or nothing. Those are all full rides. Where we're a little more, we function a little bit like a salary cap. If you're fully funded school, you got 36 scholarships that are broken up into equivalencies, and but there's still a bunch of opportunity because what we do have is the ability to stack academic and institutional aid on top of that athletic money, and really can make it quite reasonable for kids to have an unbelievable experience playing football.
Let me ask you this, because you come from a blue collar thing, and my question of the last couple of weeks is: can a football team, especially yours that likes to run the ball, obviously, can you be successful without being a blue collar type attitude?
No, I mean, I think you got to have a certain edge to you. I think you got to have a like and a want to do the dirty stuff. I think you got to have a grit about yourself. I think that's the only way to really if you're going to run the ball, you got to have that personality. And I think really that personality starts in the weight room, right? I mean, it goes back to, we talk about my dad. My dad's a guy that 50 years old, he was still in there bench pressing 400 plus pounds because, it was Al Johnson and Dave Lawson and that whole crew. And, Mike Joseph's done a great job carrying on that tradition for the Mountaineers. And we have a tremendous strength coach here in Trent Caldwell. And he actually was an intern under Dave Lawson at Tennessee. So, it's our business is very close knit and very tight. And, but yeah, I think you got to want to have that blue collar mentality to do things that way.
And you just hired an offensive line coach. You just said tight knit. And of course, Tyler Orlowski played with the WVU football. I mean, I was broadcasting when he was here. What a player he was. Saw him as a graduate assistant coach. You got a fantastic coach.
Yeah, T.O.'s done a great job for us. We were able to hire him really late January. He got here right before signing day, and he's done a good job. It's been a complete 180 in that room in terms of the level of accountability that they have and just what he expects out of those guys. And I'm sure he's not much different than he was when he played. He's an opinionated guy, and
He is.
but he coaches those guys really hard. He does a good job developing relationships, and I think he's a really talented young coach that's going to have a tremendous career.
No, excellent. You know what? I think you're right, man. And I'm going to tell you what, you can tell by saying this too. He's very opinionated. Very.
I want to send him the link. He'll have to watch. But.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so let's flip this over now. Defense. What type of defense are you running, and how do you like your defense to play?
Yeah, again, similar to run the ball, you got to stop the run, and we've been blessed. We finished top 15, I think, in the country last year in total yards and scoring defense, and I think the key to that is identifying talented players in the box, right? It starts with the guys up front, and then putting them in position to rush the passer. But we're based on a 4-down scheme. We play a variety of different coverages out of the 4-down front. We do mess around with some of the 3-down stuff. So anymore with as multiple as the offenses are, you almost have to be as multiple with the defenses.
Right.
And we do quite a bit of stuff and really try to tailor everything to the talent that we have and what those kids are really good at, right? And every year guys got different skill sets, and we really, do our best to mesh that with what they can do.
Let me say this to you. Okay, let me ask you this. You got your team right in front of you, and you're telling your team, this is who we are. Who are you?
Who are we?
Yep. Who are you?
Yeah, we're a hard-nosed, gritty football team that's going to attack people for 60 minutes. We're not going to give up. We're going to play hard, snap the whistle, and we're going to get after folks. And we're going to leave it all on the field. We're not going to be worried about making mistakes or hesitant. We're going to make sure that it's simple for guys so they can play fast, and we're going to get after people and attack them.
All right. That sounds good to me. Last question here for this. You came from Notre Dame College over there in Cleveland, right? That's Berea, isn't it, around there?
Yeah, it was South Euclid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had all that success. You had all that success, and now you're at LR. And it's a big powerhouse program. How's the pressure, Mikey?
Yeah, there's tons of pressure. I mean, with all those things that we talked about, a new stadium and a weight room and a passionate alumni fan base, there's a desire and a want and frankly, an expectation to win. But really, that's why we came here. I'm forever grateful for the first time becoming a head coach at Notre Dame College, but felt like we had, after a Final Four appearance at Notre Dame College and an Elite Eight in back-to-back years, really felt like we had maybe maxed out where that program could go and, wanted a new challenge and, kind of relish in the fact that the expectations are high and work really hard to meet them.
Okay. Hey, so tell us, what are your camps this summer?
Yeah, we're coming up. We have prospect camps here. We'll be on Friday, June 9th and June 10th. Friday, June 9th, and then Saturday, June 10th, and then we're again on Friday, June 16th, and Saturday, June 17th, leading into that Father's Day weekend.
Okay, awesome. Now, I'm going to say wish you the best. Okay, I do. I follow you, man. But I have to go. Back when you were at Ohio State, you were still a player. All right,
Yeah.
There's one band that you would not believe that you went to, and I want all of your players to know this, who was the coolest band of all time.
It's like personal bodyguard or something, or you were Prince's personal bodyguard, and he called my dad and said you're going to be in town, and he couldn't go for whatever reason. And I think you had us right there, like in the second row, and he played 13 or 14 instruments in a 3-hour show, man. And it's, to this day, it's hands down the best concert I've ever been to. I've been to a bunch of good ones, but that is the singular best concert I've ever been to, brother.
I'll tell you, and it still held you. I mean, it held back then. I was wondering how you're going to react to it, but you got to tell everybody there was nobody like him, man. He could jam, and his music, on the radio was kind of, was groovy and stuff, but in concert, it was hard roll. It was hard rock and roll.
He was, obviously a little younger at the time. The hits and some of that, but again, the appreciation for just how talented he was with the number. I mean, he played the drums, he played the sax, he played the guitar, he played an acoustic guitar. I mean, he did it all, and it was incredible.
Absolutely. If a recruit sees this, he's going to want to come and play for you just because how cool you are as a head coach. All right. Hey, you make sure you give a hug and kiss there, Lacey and the kids. And man, it's great to see him. I'm saying this in a non-way. I'm really proud of you, Mikey.
I appreciate it, man. We got a lot of love for the Wolfley family. You in particular, Dale. You know how much we care about you guys, and it's been family for a long time. And really appreciate you having on. Love the chance to get caught up with you. I've been watching your family, your boys, and all their success, and really cool to watch, man. So this has been great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good job. See you later, buddy. We'll catch you on the other side. Take care now. Good. All right. Boy, I tell you, Mike Jacobs, head football coach Lenoir Rhyne, he has an 800 winning percentage. Did you hear that? 800. That's 80%, right? If you take away the zero, so you got 80% of the games. His pops would be proud of him. Not only as a football coach, that would go out, but him as a father, a husband, and just watching him do what he does, man. Now, I want to say this, Lenoir Rhyne, that is a powerhouse school with a great tradition. He just talked about, between the bricks, that stadium. It is awesome. And I would really want to encourage, coming from a guy who was a former junior college head coach, getting there, going to Lenoir Rhyne would be an incredible experience. As he said, you can go to the NFL if you're good enough, if you're supposed to, and make it. Certainly that's something that a launching point you got to think about. And you got to believe in yourself if you really believe that. But more importantly, you get a great education. And I know that Hickory down there is pretty darn beautiful in North Carolina. All right, so I got David Cummings here. David, you had asked a question here for Mike if he was looking to move up in the ranks. Listen, man, I don't know anyone. I have no idea what Mike would say to this, but I'm going to tell you is that every coach would have to look at every opportunity. But I'm going to tell you now that being there at LR is a special job. It is special. And when you have a base and a passionate fan base, now it could bite you in the can on the other side if you don't succeed. But already, Coach Mike is taken, and he had the most all conference players in 2021. So he's already been there, and he's already had success there. Now you got to go and you got to win. It's just like anything else, and the pressure is there. But I don't know if he'd want to jump up to just any program. I'll tell you this. And I'll finish it off with as truthful as I can. If he were to move on, I would suspect it would have to be something special up there on the next level. So I hope that answers your question there, David Cummings, and I hope I didn't do any falsity for Mikey, because he's his own man, and I just love seeing who he has become. He was just a little guy that loved chocolate milk. And I think he has done so much. And again, the dude knows that Prince is the man. All right, so let's move on here. Before I bring on my next guest, a real fireball, if you will, I want to go ahead and put on my QR codes, because I'll forget about it, especially if I start talking to Meg, because she just makes me laugh. And, who knows where that conversation will go. But let's go here. Paul Mini, man, right there. Get your QR code. Hey, rechargeable batteries. If you go green, you save green. That means bucks, baby. Save the green. I'm telling you, WolfMan's call. All my kids, they want to play the games, and they're using batteries, AA batteries. But you know what? I keep spending a fortune on them. Well, I don't anymore, because I got Paul Mini. PaulMini.com. Go ahead. I'm going to let you QR that right there. And let's see. Do I see backstage? Oh, I do see. You know what? I got to get my paper out for this, because this right here, this is Meg Bulger is going to be coming on. Obviously, she was a hoop star for the Mountaineers. She's the part of the first family of WVU athletics, in my opinion. Obviously, her sister Kate is in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? They both scored 15 points. All right, they both averaged that for their 4-year career. So we might have an interesting question about that. And then, of course, Mark Bulger, the quarterback that played so many years in the NFL, and now has a really cool joint in Nashville. He lives in Nashville, but he's got a cool joint there. And I'm going to let Meg tell you about it, because it's cool, and we're going to get to her. So, Meg, are you there? Are you ready to go? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, you can hear me. Very good. We got a good start, kiddo. Let's go here. And Meg Bulger, how are you?
I'm good, Wolf. I get to see you twice in 7 days.
Oh my gosh!
When has that ever happened?
Well,
I don't want to say the date.
Happened. All right. Well, let me get this off here with this. But first of all, how are you doing? Number one, and tell everybody what your job title is with Game Changer now, and just bring it home.
Well, let me just say it's been such an incredible journey to be a part of Game Changer. Mark and I have gone to this event that I saw you at the Greenbrier the last 2 years, and Mark literally plants his calendar around it. I luckily do now too, because it is that, you were there. It's that great of an event, all kind of, celebrities and past players and coaches and the people of West Virginia that care and make this whole thing for everybody go. So I kind of left last 2 years thinking, man, I want to follow up. I want to do something, and I got to be a part of this in some way, because the mission of it is so dear to my heart, because seeing these children, I have a 10-year-old, seeing these children that are getting poisoned with fentanyl, making one mistake by buying something and dying. It is literally that serious. And I did not realize it is so near and dear to my heart. So they asked me last September to be a part of a film that they were making. And through this documentary, it's called One Pill Can Kill. It's for free on GameChangerUSA.org. I interviewed about 10 middle school and high school students who we could have stopped the documentary there. They taught me so many things. I mean, they spoke from personal experiences. They are going through it. Let me tell you, like, these kids are living it in school, seeing overdoses in school, seeing overdoses with their families, friends. I mean, it is that serious and crucial. And they were smarter than anybody in the room, saying, we got to do something and we have to step up. They just wanted more knowledge on how to do it. But these kids were smart. It was incredible, incredible. And then they would present questions. And then I went and interviewed detectives and did, a ride along. I went and interviewed paramedics. And then I got to, I say that like it's cool, but it was to me to go to prison and interview an actual drug dealer who just laid it out there so open and honest about what is going on. So to be able to do that was just incredible, because it is just an open and honest look at how serious it is in West Virginia right now. I mean, at the time, it was 4 out of 10 pills are being laced with fentanyl, which immediately kills you.
Right.
And then we saw the chemist from the DEA a month later, and it was 6 out of 10. I mean, it is growing that rapidly. And I mean, we interviewed a lovely family, the Cole family out of Morgantown, who lost their daughter that was 25. I mean, beautiful, bright young girl, gone in an instant. So to be a part of this journey, and we visit schools, the governor is completely behind it. He will bring Baby Dog and go to schools, and we'll release this film and just have discussions with the kids. We did a basketball tournament at the Greenbrier that we showed the kids the entire film. And I was kind of nervous sitting in the same room, but these kids were completely enthralled with it. The parents said that they were getting text messages from their kids saying like, wow, we know it's bad, but like to see it laid out on our level, it's not just saying say no to drugs. Like, it's a real look at it. So it's just, I know that was really long-winded, but that's where I'm at with it. And they're doing such wonderful, wonderful things. A lot of the superintendents and teachers have reached out to me personally. I know, and to Game Changer, just to say what a difference that they're already seeing in kids, wanting to talk about it, and kids wanting to learn how to be mentors. And it's been a really, really incredible, incredible journey.
Yeah. Meg, when I was actually broadcasting the press conference, and you were there standing next to me, and I didn't know how involved you were already at the time. And then I'm like, well, here, sit down and talk to me, because you're so like going at it. And it's like, I'm really impressed how much you've really submerged yourself into this, I mean, I guess it's like this. I've always known you. I always known how good of a heart you had. Always know you're top professional, whether you're playing basketball, whether you're being a broadcaster, no matter what you do, you're top of the line. So for you to jump in on this, so that leads me to this, that Joe Bozic is a lot smarter than I thought he was. And Joe Bozic is the head, right? Is he not the executive?
Yeah, he's the executive director and founder, right?
Yeah, tell us about him.
Oh, he's incredible. A couple of years ago, it's been going on for about 4 years, he sat with the president of MVB Bank, who's Don Robinson, and they literally came up with this idea. And they have turned this from an idea 4 years ago into what it is right now. And I mean, they have made it their life's work, and they are two of the best people. And then there's a board of directors who have been absolutely incredible and instrumental as well. I mean, it's just been, they're the type of guys, and especially Joe, it's like when you're around him, you're watching his mind work in real time with these like brilliant ideas and thoughts of like where you should go next and what we should do. But then a week later they come to fruition, and you're like, wow, that's how I've always wanted to. The only lane I've ever been able to do that is basketball. Like, I see something, I could do it. Everywhere else in life, it's like, wouldn't that be something if I just did this? And then you move on to your next thought. Like, they actually make it happen. And that's definitely the people of West Virginia, though. Sorry, my buddy's not leaving me alone here.
Hey, we are casual here.
I figured you would be.
You're lucky, because my people in my studio here that I have, they didn't even tell me that you couldn't even see me. The lighting was off. And so I did my last show. So you're lucky you can see me. I mean, again, I got it just in time for you.
That looks better lighting than I have. I like it.
We'll continue on. But yeah,
I mean, as you said, when I sat down with you at the press conference, I'm so used to doing the sports broadcast, and we start talking about sports or fun and other things in our families. And for me, this is by far, I mean, of course, love the people of West Virginia, and we've been there through the sports realm. So to be there, to actually feel, and I know that a lot of sports, that gives people great joy every single week, being able to watch, or great sadness sometimes when we're watching games, but to be able to actually meaningfully be there and give back to the state that has given my family so much, and try and make even one impact on one person, it literally means the world to me. And it's been so incredible. And I'm, like you said, I'm super, super passionate about it. I have a million nieces and nephews. My daughter is 10. And I mean, I'm having a conversation with her about this. She doesn't fully understand, but she understands it more than I did when I was 10. That's for sure. I mean, it's pretty wild. It really is.
Yeah, Megan, let me I had to write this down. Okay. And this is that you are the education and community liaison.
I am.
Now that's like a French word, is it not? Liaison?
Yes,
Okay.
the
So
go-between.
what are you doing for Game Changer? I know you're involved in all this, but what's your exact job description?
So visiting the schools, once the main thing at first, I mean, it was a long process of doing the documentary, getting that ready, and rolling that out to pilot programs in schools all over West Virginia. And so I will go and speak whenever we're showing this film to all the different schools and all the different counties that are a part of it. And moving forward, hopefully, this is the next couple of steps to be able to really go out and be the education part. Luckily, Game Changer is teamed up with Hazelwood and Betty Ford Foundation. So I want to get some certifications and some training that I need to get, so that when I am with these kids, I can answer questions, one, legally, two, with a much more knowledgeable base to actually help, where, right now it's kind of, you can be there, passionately and with your heart, but I can't really sit there and, give them the specific answers. So that's the next step, hopefully, which then I can get way more involved in the schools and what we're doing. And coming up, there's a camp in Bridgeport at the Bridgeport Sports Complex, and they run it off for 8 weeks. It's every day. We're going to be down there I believe it's going to be every Monday. We have to finalize that, just for an hour with the young kids and an hour with the older kids, just kind of going through things, showing them what Game Changer is all about, and really just saying, hey, with the younger kids, you got to make healthy decisions. You got to live, should you grab another Oreo or should you grab the celery? Grab the celery, honey. Just teaching that mental capability of making good decisions, being nice to kids. Don't, I always tell my daughter, be the leader of good. Don't just be a nice kid. Like, just little things like that. And with the older kids, we can certainly, kind of show parts of the film and get more in depth of what they're seeing, because it's, they're more exposed to it.
Right.
But yes, we have, I mean, Joe Bo, and his head probably right now is in next year. And I'm like, well, this starts next month. So this is where my brain works. So
See,
but lots of good
needs to
things.
do that because he's already gone. So nobody would be here. It would be if you weren't there. So poor props to you.
I'm bringing up the caboose. Like I'm here.
Somebody's got to, man. All right. So let's look at this. I don't know if this is an appropriate question or not, but how much is sports involved in trying to help with, you got to do the awareness that one pill kills, but how much is sports there? Because you need something to intervene in their free times, right? To get it. Is it heavily involved?
Yeah. I mean, I think certainly my presence there, that's where my background is going to come from. But a lot of the things that when I was talking with the kids, is it doesn't necessarily just have to be sports. When you go to theater afterward, that's your team. That's your group of people. That's your team. When you go to math club after school, I had to walk past that because I shouldn't have, but I did, because I was probably not doing too well. I probably should have stopped in. Like, that's your team, your friends. That's your team of people. And I think the important part to remember of Game Changer is one person isn't going to just walk in and change all of it. It's got to be a collective team effort of all of us pulling our weight, doing our roles just like it would in anywhere else. You can have the lead actress, but if you don't have that supporting actress in the back or actor in the back, the play might not come off the way it should have, or it might. So, I mean, they just need to understand that it's not always, just for sports, it's not always the leading scorer in the this. It's you make an impact and a difference with exactly the role that you can play, whether it's with your friends, your family. A lot of these, it will be with them learning this and going home to their families, which is the saddest part. And them being the one teaching their families. But yeah, I think the sports aspect of it, I mean, certainly getting out and getting physical activity. Yes, you want to be healthy. That helps, because once you start to feel good about yourself and working out and all that, that's not a lie. You start feeling good about yourself. You spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of that combined helps you make better decisions. And the key part with Game Changer, again, is prevention. We don't want these kids to even say, well, I'm going to try it, but I'm going to stop. I can stop. You can't stop. And you'll get addicted. It's that serious. And it's it's like 14, 15 times stronger than heroin. I mean, it's insane. Wow. So these little kids ingesting that, they can't handle it like most addicts could. So they're not just saying on a weekend and this was how dumb I am. I kept saying, like, are there parties on the weekend where you're just seeing that? They were like, no, it's Snapchat or wherever, it's school. You meet in the bathroom, you go get it. I'm thinking, holy crap. Like, this is, you have to be on these kids everywhere. There's no reprieve from it. So the prevention aspect, I think, is the key part to getting these kids to understand you can't mess around with it, not even once. I mean, it's that bad.
You know, Megan, that must have been the jock in me that come out, but talk about sports. But what you just showed me, what I learned is, you know, there's got to be other things besides just sports. It's whatever you have. It's got to be something that's positive, though, I think, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, just taught me something, so I want to thank you. I tip my hat.
I had to learn that.
Now you're educating me, and that's why you have the title of educator and a community liaison.
But you're right, though. And the more that they go through life, and I'm sure it's just the athletes that always say it, there is something to be said for people that are athletes, though, and that's why when you get in the workforce afterwards, they want to hire athletes. This is no knock on anybody else, but they do, because we understand what it takes. We understand the work ethic. We understand time commitment, how to work with other people. You see a goal. How do we get to it? I mean, there's something to be said for the athlete part of it. So, I mean, you're completely spot on with that. But these kids and my own daughter, I mean, that opened my eyes big time. I'm like that emoji all the time, like with the big eyes. I'm like,
well, you know what? I mean, when you go back to the golf tournament last week, that was a who's who. I mean, you know, the whole event, you had the governor, the two senators. You just don't get that sitting down. You had Roy Williams, a guest speaker. But when I'm talking about the golf tournament, I mean, you know, your brother was there, Daryl Talley was there. I mean, no one else in the state has that big of a who's who golf tournament. And I know it was the biggest event that you guys have had to date.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It really was. I mean, Avon Coburn, Daryl Talley, Anthony Beck, Alex Ruoff, John Flower. I mean, there was literally from every single, Wolfman #1 and 1A and 1B and 1C. Obvious. That was my big, I was thrilled when I saw you. But I mean, and like, yeah, and as you mentioned, the superintendents, we had, you know, executive directors of the Hazelden and Betty Ford Foundation, and you have people in that room, and that's what it really does strike me. West Virginia is so special. I'm not seeing this in Pennsylvania. I mean, you're just not. You're not seeing an organization that gets not like-minded people all the time in certain fields together saying this is important and we got to do something. And that's what makes West Virginia special, is that the people, they do rally around that, and they do put other differences aside and come together, want to be at this event. I mean, and they do such a first-class job with it. But every single organization that is trying to do something that is unbelievable, and you're doing more than the person that's not, you know. But like you said, it's when you have that ability, and when someone, and that's just the way it is, when someone knows someone that can get someone, things get done. And I applaud the leaders of West Virginia, Joe and Larry Puccio. I mean, for all of Puccio, for literally being able to bring these people together to get things done. Because I mean, when you can do that, that's and back to sports. How does Gino Auriemma get 5 All-Americans and #1 recruits everywhere to play together? Boom. You get all these people to play together for such a great cause and organization. So you just have to give everybody credit for putting that aside and wanting to make a difference.
And it is. And now it just blew up, as you can see on the screen, the game changer. Obviously, I think you are changing the game in West Virginia, but more has to be done. Education is always difficult. It's always takes longer times to get in and dive and to stay in there. So tell us what we can do to help, Megs.
Just honestly, and visit the website, just learn a little bit about it. Talk with your kids, talk with your grandchildren, your nephews, your nieces. Please, just, I think opening that discussion and saying to them, hey, are you aware of this? And then from there, of course, monetary donations are always wonderful. If you want to step in and be a volunteer in your community, in one of the schools in your community that's a pilot program, you can volunteer anywhere to any of these schools, and you're going to make a difference. That's another wonderful thing about Game Changer is they're not saying, please get on our website, pay $4.99, and you can have all of these resources and tools and use our video. No, it's free. Just get on there. You can take it to a mom could see that tomorrow, take it to her principal and say, can you just look into this? This might be something we could show our 8th grade. This could be something we show, the juniors next year. See, whatever it is, you could take these resources, take these tools. We would certainly love to come in and help and, bring the mentors and the counselors that can train these kids. But you can do that all for free just by visiting that website and getting a grasp of the seriousness of the issue and just having the conversation.
It will grow if we grow with it, right? I mean, if we all put in and help,
Boom.
Grow. And you are the liaison between us all. So if you want to get involved,
yeah, I have to approve it. So when you want to go, I am the only liaison. So
okay. Last question. I promise. Last question. There's a scenario. Let's look at it this way. We go back to blacktop. Now, I went ahead. I didn't know what Kate's 4 years and your 4-year average in basketball was, so I had to go look it up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like I'm a know-it-all.
You can't. And if you did, I would hit end real quick and be like, "Oh, sorry, got hazy."
You both were 15-pointers there for your career total, right?
I think totals, yes.
Yes,
One year I had better than others, but
okay,
yes.
well, there you go. All right. So my thing is, I'm going to take you back. I'm going to be official. I'm going to take you back to the blacktop, where it all started from. You and Kate, who's winning to 10?
Oh, this is so tough. See, and this is an honest answer, I promise you. We were such different players. So if we were playing one-on-one, I'm winning because I'm pushing, I'm battling, I'll get scrappy. But if we decided to go play around the world or pig, any kind of shooting game, she's killing me. No, she's getting 8 out of 10, and in one-on-one, I think I'm getting about 7.
That means she wins.
If that makes sense. Okay, then we're vice. Well, because I think I wouldn't do so bad on the shooting. I really knocked myself. But just strictly one-on-one, I think I would. If it's just one game wins all, not out of 10, I'm taking it.
Okay. I'm going to say this on a blacktop court. I'm not going to choose between the two of you, but I will say you'll beat Mark.
Yeah, I think so. He used to be really, really good basketball player, but
imagine that.
He was so good. He was really, really, really good. But yeah, if we went right now, I'm definitely going to take him. But he was the one that we used to make fun of him because we'd play one-on-one, or if like Katie and I were playing with our other brothers 3-on-3 or something, and we would take it in. He'd foul us, or if we fouled him, he'd call the foul. He'd be like, Mark, she's 9. Like, you're going to call that? He's like, foul's a foul. Like, just so like, how he is.
Oh, boy, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yes, right?
Yeah, okay. All right. So Meg Bulger, Game Changer. How do they go find the website? GameChangerUSA.org. Please visit. It's very easy to use. It's user-friendly. The video is on there. There's other clips from the senator and governor and everything we're doing. Events that we'll have will be posted on there. So yes, thanks so much for your support, Wolfman. Hey, you know what? Pleasure to have you. Thank you. And we'll talk. We'll bring it back. Talk to you soon. Anytime you want to get on the WolfMan's call, you are allowed, Meg Bulger.
I love it. Well, I'm not letting another 7 days go by. I'll just send you a quick text with like some emoji or something. Just be like, hey, just checking in. Just
right.
checking in.
All right.
Thank you, Wolfman.
We'll see you. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right. Meg Bulger. I don't know. Something about that kid. She just makes me laugh. And she's a riot and she's serious, talking game changer. You can see her passion. That's why she's so effective and so many of the things that she does. Is there anybody here that wants to go ahead and come on up and talk about a point of view? If you know something about Game Changer, if you want to know more, if you want to, here's your opportunity to come. I'm going to go ahead and put out some more QR codes to go ahead and do this here with the Artisan Grange. If you want to go ahead and type it in, whatever you want to do, man. But it's Artisan Grange company. It's switch to hemp, just the dip. Get rid of the tobacco, get rid of the nicotine. You heard Meg just talking about, it's opioid and substance abuse. Well, nicotine and tobacco, substance abuse, don't abuse it. Switch to hemp, get off the nicotine, get off the tobacco. It's not nasty. Kissing your special one. They won't mind it. And go ahead, go wolfmandip.com. Now, I do want to say a special thing here. So if you want to go to the QR code and scan it, here's a special thing, and that is that Artisan Grange Company is giving away 2 VIP tickets to the Touchdown Terrors and all that's entailed for the Duquesne game. Okay, they're going to give it away. You go to their website, shop artisangrange.com, go to wolfmandip.com. It takes you to the same place. Go to the giveaway. It's Johnny Cahigas. It's Meg, his wife. They're both Mountaineers. And they're doing a great job with this and getting people to switch from nicotine and tobacco to hemp. Gotta love them. But they're also going away and giving away these tickets. If you haven't had an opportunity to go to games can be expensive at times. And these are VIP seats, Touchdown Terrors. Go to shopartisangrange.com. Go to wolfmandip.com. And the other thing I want to show right here is West Virginia United. John Cantwell, former Mountaineer offensive lineman. Well, Johnny's put up a lot of time in this and trying to get West Virginia United. He's selling stickers or moving into clothing line. But it's West Virginia United. I think it's good. I think we all should be united, especially just talking Game Changer. And you talk to Mike Jacobs at LR and the connections that we all have. It has 6 degrees of separation or less with us right around here. So, again, is West Virginia United. Check it out. QR code. And what else we got? What time we have here? 5:53. Okay, we're going to do one last segment, and we're going to see if anyone wants to go ahead and chime in. I like this. I want to do this more often, but I will tell you this. Let me find it right here. Okay, Michael Jordan. Go ahead and listen on up.
Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley. We earn what we got. Now they get that before they play one game. So you're rolling the dice to see if this kid's ever going to be good or not. So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential. And I think it sets a bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not going to work as hard.
Do you hear that? Think about that. Think about the name, image, and likeness. Think about if he's just going ahead and not even giving people money based on their play. I want you to make the call. Tell me, what do you think? Go ahead and type in here. If you want to type in, I will give you the link for you to come on this show if you want to talk about it and comment. I had Keith Hawkins on yesterday. And I see people out there. I want to get you involved. What do you think? Type it in or come on the show. But here you have it. I'll continue this tomorrow when we have Al Johnson on with the National Strength and Conditioning Chief Development Officer for that whole thing. A huge impact on all of the colleges for their strength and conditioning coaches. So Big Al is going to come in and talk about that. He was my strength coach. He was pretty amazing. But let's continue this. Michael Jordan saying, hey, listen, going ahead and giving money to young athletes before they've even proved themselves in one game, is that a detriment? Is it a detriment? That's the question, right? If Michael Jordan's saying he thinks that it could be because you don't work hard enough. What are your thoughts, man? I'm telling you, I'm trying to get people in on this, and I want you to give me a type, whatever. I'll sit here, I'll talk, I'll ramble. It doesn't matter. Well, it's the Wolfman's call, so I guess I don't really ramble because I'm always going to bring it to a point. But if Michael Jordan says that, how do we not? And that's basketball he was talking about specifically. I apply that to really any athletes now in college because that's what NIL is. And so when we're thinking about how do you rein in this NIL, because it can't go ahead and just sustain itself. There is going to have to be a leveling off. There is going to have to be a salary cap, if you will, just like the NFL, just like NBA. You have to have a salary cap because if you don't, then it's out of control and it's unfair playing grounds. And when you have unfair playing grounds, unlevel playing grounds, maybe not even unfair is the right word, unlevel playing grounds, and then you have a real problem. So how do you get that so there's a complete parity, if you will? Just like the NFL, I mean, the salary cap really is a fantastic thing. Free agency, if that's the model, then I'm talking specifically now football, if that is the model, then we need to have a level playing field for all the schools. Right now, it's too much out of control, too much guys getting money that, it's like this. All these guys are coming to West Virginia. See this helmet? Yeah, here comes my tangent. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead. All right, to see this helmet, you see those rifles on there? That was just 1 year. But that means I played. And that means that I went hard. And that means that, I played. I got scratched in my helmet. I cried at times. I cheered at times, hugged at times, joy, so many emotions, all kinds of emotions. I bled at times on that football field, hurt myself, tore ligaments, all that stuff on the football field. And when I see someone now going ahead, and I think this is what Michael Jordan is saying, someone now going ahead, and before they even put on this helmet, or any other helmet for any other school, or any other shoulder pads, or any other cleats, they're getting that money. And I don't know if that sits too well. It's the name of the game, and I'm for it. Listen, we're right here's the last day for $1 million. We got to do it to compete, all right? So I'm not saying it's a horrible thing. What I'm saying is we got to find a way to make it level. Got to find a way to make it level. And they're doing a great job here at Country Roads Trust. Stephen Ford, Oliver Luck, Ken Kendrick, Amanda Mazey, Grant Dobie. I mean, they're all over there working very hard to raise money so that our student athletes are competitive, especially in the dollar figure. But you got to find a level playing field. And watching all these other kids who's never even put on a helmet, never had a rifle on their helmet, never bled for WVU, never hugged a WVU fan up in the stands, never sang Country Roads. I don't know, man. It's like this. We got to find a level playing field so both sides are happy and equal so that it's level for all the schools. What did we learn today? Well, you learned with Mike Jacobs, a really young, new head coach that is all about fundamentals, going back to the basics. He learned it old school from his pops, from all of his mentors, Ohio State coaches, Billy Lake, who played at WVU, coached at WVU, coached now at Marshall. He learned from him at Purdue. I mean, it just goes back. These are old school coaches coaching the fundamentals. And to be a fundamental team is to be a team that is blue collar, that's got a hard nose. And he says, I asked him, who are you as a team? And John Pennington said almost the same exact answer, which I know why John Pennington is an excellent coach as well. They want to be hard fighting, an edge to them, attack for 60 minutes on offense, attack for 60 minutes on defense. And if you want to run the ball, you got to have a mean mentality. You got to have a running mentality. If you want to stop the running game from a team that can run the ball, you have to have a mean mentality. Mean. And I'm talking about what it takes to get it done. And there with Mike Jacobs, I think he is very in a good spot. Good spot. What do we got here? We got David Cummings is coming back here. I'm talking like an incentive program. You can get so many sacks. You get the highest dollar amount or score the amount of points that were set forth in the contract. I don't think they have that right now, to be quite honest. I don't think you can actually pay based on performance. What I'm saying is you're getting all this money before you even on a down. But I like what you're saying, David, because that's just free agency. If you're moving to a free agency market, if eventually you're going to have a salary cap to make things level, why would you not put a play on performance? If you have 5, that's just like getting bonuses. So, yeah, man, I think that's something that you got to throw out there. It's like this. I think when you look at it, man, if you're really going to go to the NFL model, because that's what you're doing right now, getting the guys, name, image, likeness to play. So go to that. You can control it. You can watch it. Everybody has to keep their numbers to a certain degree. Right now, you have 80. Let's just an example. Let's just throw this out here. What do we got here, David? Let's see what else you said. You said something like, oh, what else you got here? Is there any way they can make the NIL like a pro contract? Oh, there you go. And get paid when you actually produce. Yep. And that's what we're talking about. Moving on. And Traveling Fools, yo. I see it, buddy. That's good. And Mark Parsons, let me see. Watching in Nashville. Oh, we're going to have you come on, Mark Parsons, because you're a very opinionated man. And you like to share things on Facebook. A great mountaineer. But getting back to it, and with David, I'm telling you, it's level playing field. All the things you just said. You have to throw everything out there. Just throw it there, see what sticks, see what makes sense. But again, you already have a model in NFL. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to try to focus it in that way. Because right now, as one example, teams have 85 scholarships. But what's happening is NIL are bringing kids in, and they're giving them enough for an education for a scholarship, and some more probably, but enough to pay for a scholarship. So now they have 86 scholarships. Is that fair? That's not fair. That's not what the rules are. You don't get another guy on your 53-man squad in the NFL. You don't get another guy on that. You got to have rules, limitations, or it makes it unlevel and it can't sustain itself. Is there anyone else? I'm going to go ahead, watch Mark Parsons, watching Nashville. He said he's going to come on. If you want to come on, man, go ahead. I'm on all over social media, on this channel, YouTube. If you want to come on, I will give you the link. I'm even going to go ahead and have an open day, and I'm just going to put the link out there. And if you want to come on, you just click that link, and you can come on and talk just like Meg did, just like you saw Mike Jacobs do. And you can do that. What a really nice way to have Michael Jordan come on the link. Maybe one day on the WolfMan's call. But I want Mountaineer participation. I want fan participation because you got a point of view. You got the greens. You got the bucks. You're spending it. You should have a say in it as well. Doesn't mean I'll agree, but I always will be respectful. And with that being said, we've passed that hour limit. And I think we're going to cut it off here. Thank you to Mike Jacobs, head coach, Lenoir Rhyne. Yeah, it could be a tongue twister if you don't be careful. And thank you to Meg Bulger. She is just amazing. Love her. What a representative for WVU. And now, what a representative for a game changer. Follow it. Get to it. Get involved if you can. And, of course, all of you guys, Mark Parsons, David Cummings, thank you. Traveling Fools. I like that. Traveling Fools. I can actually say that and have some fun. And thank you to our sponsors. And thank you to Parmar Stores for making all this happen. We're coming at you 4 days a week, all summer long. The WolfMan's Call. We'll see you.